Welcome back to Barber News. I don't like to do this, but we have finally gotten to the bottom of something crazy in the barbering world. It might upset some of you, and it will certainly upset competitors, if that's what you would like to call them. Some businesses are smart and will have people do research on other companies. It's not only fair, but it's a smart thing to do. Everyone needs to know where they stand and see who's doing what. But imagine being so cheap you ask a guy called Stinky to do some research for you, and end up being the biggest laughingstock in barbering history. Not only overcharging for your machines and trying to make ridiculous profit, but to relying on dead beats to source your information, instead of paying someone who is actually a professional to do it. Where you might actually get good information if you're paying for your research, not offering a guy who makes pizza boxes, some clippers and trimmers, and a high five in return for information. I mean, has a pizza box maker ever done anything else besides make pizza boxes? I don't think so. Not only will a deadbeat not do a job properly, he will try ask other deadbeats to get the information for him, so he literally does nothing. But where am I going with this, you ask? Imagine your company is drowning on the verge of bankruptcy, and you're asking a washed-up scruff called Stinks to fish information. It's not going to be really accurate, is it? So when your low-budget rat goes looking for information, and he comes back with the goods, you're too foolish to even doubt that information provided was uttered BS, and you may as well have just guessed yourself. But your head's too far gone up your rear end. You don't even doubt it, so you go and make the dumbest move in history. Imagine thinking you're 2 steps ahead, but really you're 20 blocks away, tucked up in bed in a deep sleep, not even close to anything. So Stylecraft got the worst information in history on release about a new clipper. They got the information that it would be called the GOAT. So they trademarked the name thinking they would ruin plants. If only it was that easy, Austin. Unfortunately, you have shown your weak hand and now you look hilarious. A lot of us actually laughed about this for a very long time. We are actually laughing now. But listen, we need to be serious. This type of behavior screams we are crashing and we will do anything. I have a solution. Why don't you fix your flaming clippers and badly designed batteries, lower your prices, and then you may do better instead trying to trademark names nobody wants, eh? Look, everyone knows Stylecraft don't have their own factory, and that Stinky Blends is more Italian than Scamma. But just stay in your lane. You have now lowered your expectations, you have now screamed for help. I would get on to your father quickly and ask him to help. You have crashed into a TPOB iceberg, and it's nearly abandoned ship time. I can hear the violins playing already. I've had a huge Clipper brand laugh about this. They actually said that Toad is hilarious and to keep up the great work. And then asked, why is that other brand listening to deadbeats in a Discord group? Have they got no real sense? That made me happy. I assured I would not mention who messaged us. But I can tell you about the message. So if other brands are now communicating over how ridiculous a sinking brand is, how crazy is that? This should be a huge wake-up call for that brand. It's unlikely, but I hope they pull it together. But please distance yourself from the idiots you're speaking with. This is the barbering industry. Everyone will speak on what goes on. Especially deadbeats, they don't know how to keep their mouths shut. I do have a barber who wants to come on and speak about this matter. But before we keep talking about the GOAT, why not speak about the play? This clipper really has made me feel relaxed, because I now know barbers around the world can get their hands on one of the greatest clippers in the world for the best prices. Run the clip, Alberto. Let's get this caller on the line. He seems keen on the situation. And you know what? So do I. Caller 1, you're live.
Hey, what's going on? I am buzzing to be finally on Barber News.
Well, I do have that impact on people. It is the greatest barbering news channel in the world after all. I wanted to ask you about this trademark scenario. What's the deal with it? Can you explain?
Yeah, of course, but how embarrassing is this? We can now confirm that Stylecraft is trying to do petty things to try stop other brands from succeeding.
I would be more inclined to use the word humiliating, but I see your logic.
Look, Toad, for them it's war, and they want to play dirty. It's clear now. They got caught red-handed.
But don't you think Austin would know better then to not act so stupid? Why can't he just take accountability for his own mistakes and work on that instead, trying to blame others around him? Isn't that the biggest mistake in business?
It is Toad, but you see he's a spoiled kid. That's his biggest downfall.
Where does this leave them now? Surely they need to make a plan and correct mistakes before it's too late. What's your take on it?
Austin runs Stylecraft, right? Basically a company he inherited from his father, Ken. The business is struggling. Customers are complaining that Austin's prices are too high. And to make things worse, the clippers they sell keep catching fire. Ken is furious that the company he gifted to his son is falling apart, and he's now forced to step in to save it. Both Austin and Ken refuse to take responsibility, blaming everyone else for the failing business. But their refusal to acknowledge their bad products is what will ultimately lead to their downfall.
But why trademark names that they think other companies are going to use? Surely they know this won't work ever.
So Austin, in a panic over his failing StarCraft business, asked Stinky Phil to dig up some info on TPOB products. But Phil, being lazy, just turned to his clueless Discord buddies. Somehow, in all the confusion, they ended up thinking TPOB was about to release a clipper called the GOAT. So naturally, Austin rushed to trademark the name to block them. Problem is, nobody was ever calling a clipper that. Now they all just look ridiculous, and then Austin's completely embarrassed. Honestly, if you ask me, they'll end up selling the company soon if they don't come up with a real plan fast.
Okay, but why are a big company asking a useless scruffy guy to look for information? Can't they just hire someone to do this for them? Isn't that what companies have researchers for?
Haven't you seen the amount of clippers on fire? Haven't you heard about all the lawsuits against them over that? The amount of business now they have lost to this ongoing issue they have made no effort to fix. We are front row to this. It's an emergency for them. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about what's happening. And that company is doing nothing about what's happening. And that screams at barbers that they just don't care.
Look, I get what you're saying. I just don't see how his father allowed this to go on for so long. Hasn't he checked on the company to see how sales are doing? Maybe his father doesn't care. His father's old style of business may not be cut out for this. Now that you mention it, I do believe selling 50% would make the most sense. Unless you went to gamble at all that barbers will forget about problems you never seem to address. The sad thing about this is Eric the Clipper creator will not care that they are going out of business. He will think it's his time to shine and push his own brand even more now.
Look, being a businessman is not for everyone. He will try more tricks, but at the end of the day, quality speaks, and he now lacks in that.
Wow. This is going to be an interesting watch. I appreciate you coming on. And that's all we have time for today. If you liked today's episode as much as I did, hit that like and please subscribe. I am out. Peace.